Hello everybody, I'm the Happycabbie doing a video for the FacealmResponse channel. I just wanted to give you a brief introduction. First of all, who I am, in case you just see me for the first time. You can see the links to my channel down in the video description as well as annotations on your screen. Anyway, this is a series of videos done by the user Straightd0pe, and you can visit his channel by just going to the orange annotation that's right on your screen or links in the video description. You can go ahead and subscribe. You'll be very glad that you did. Anyway, about a month ago, these videos were removed by YouTube for violations of community guidelines. I wanted to have a place where they could all be uploaded in one spot. So here they are in their original upload date, all in one long video, and I do hope you enjoy it. I'm the Happycabbie, and you guys have a good day.
Well, it just so happens that my second video is in response to another video that was removed in less than a day. This video was made by Brett Keane and mirrored by Coughlin666 before he had his online meltdown. It seems that both Brett and Coughlin took the video down because the amazing atheist took exception to some of the lies Brett was propagating about him. Brett was suspended a couple of years ago, and I've been following him for a while. I watched him before he was banned, I was there when the shit went down, and I've kept a bit of an eye on him since. Well, he's now back on YouTube as the Stallion76. Pretty ridiculous channel name. But so far he's stuck around. Who knows, maybe he'll last this time. Anyway, every once in a while, Brett tries to rewrite his internet history. He gives his own account of why he was suspended in the first place, and he never really tells it the same way twice. The one thing that's consistent is that he's always the big victim. He's always just the normal atheist video maker who wants to talk about religion as well as politics as well as movies and music until he's viciously persecuted by Christians as well as Muslims as well as pagans as well as atheists as well as others because his views are just so damn subversive and threatening to the status quo. So that's what he was doing in this video he removed. He was trying to rewrite history again. And that's prompted me to set the record straight. So sit back, kiddies, grab yourselves a nice bowl of popcorn and a steaming cup of delicious Ovaltine, because I'm going to tell the story of Brett Keane. First, let's take a look at who this man is. He was one of the first notable atheists on YouTube. He likes to think of himself as some kind of intellectual, though he constantly makes grammatical errors and misuses or mispronounces words. I'll give a couple quick examples. He often says, "I seen this," or "I seen that a while back." He says the word whenever, though he really just means when, and he says counterdict instead of contradict. He also thinks insultive is a word.
Not to be insultive or offensive.
Aside from these linguistic errors, there are certain words that he thinks make him appear to be smarter than the average bear. His favorite word is situation. Everything is a situation, either a situation or an issue. Also, he says as well as when he should really just say and. Anyway, people generally subscribe because he's always pumped out about 5 videos a day. That's because he doesn't have a fucking job. In fact, to my knowledge, in all the hundreds of hours of video he's uploaded, he's never mentioned ever working a real job in his life. He's a notorious e-beggar and is known for telling sob stories while asking for donations. He also loved to announce that he was done making videos forever, only to change his mind the next morning.
I don't think I'll be uploading any videos anymore. I'm giving up on the videos. This ain't like the other times over on YouTube where I got a little annoyed or aggravated and I went away for a few days. This is permanent.
He did this in the hopes that some of his more mindless viewers would beg him to stay, and consequently his ego would be stroked. To get a better idea of what we're dealing with here, let's examine his current YouTube channel page. Brett Keane talks about religion, government, movies, games, music, and all the other fun stuff life brings. What is it about people on the internet capitalizing random nouns? Anyway, what does he have under occupation? Author, musician, and other stuff. Very interesting. An author and musician. Just to be clear, no publisher has ever decided to publish anything written by Brett. A website-based press prints copies of his book on demand whenever some poor sucker who watches his videos gets curious enough to shell out $15 to see what Mr. Keane has written. What they get are pseudo-religious fantasy/horror novels that haven't even been spell-checked. The amazing atheist and Cody Weber decided to follow in Brett's footsteps and use the same company to publish their drivel as well. As far as musician goes, judge for yourself, I guess.
Sorry God, I watch TV, I see the news, the babies dead in dumpsters, mothers on crack, men beating women, sisters with HIV.
I have a sneaking suspicion the other stuff under the occupation heading refers to some sort of tax-funded social benefit program. Now, let's see what the self-proclaimed author has in his channel info. I was a Christian for 15 years, lost my faith and became a atheist. I love spending time with my family. With my spare minutes, I make videos about whatever comes to mind, usually proving religion to be false hope. I like making friends on the internet. Been doing internet shit for years. I like making the videos because it makes people smile and sometimes educational. For me, it's a great stress relief. Helps me relax. I plan on sticking around, but you never know what life may bring. I have health issues. However, as long as I feel okay, I will make videos. Sometimes I make too many, some may complain, but every video I'm proud of and stand behind them. Also, I like helping friends out by putting their vids up. I think you all will enjoy those vids as well. You guys take the time to watch me, so I take the time to make the best vids possible for your enjoyment and hopefully to educate others. Thank you always for your support, friends. A skillfully written bit of prose. He's obviously a natural wordsmith. Okay, let's talk about why this fat fuck was banned to begin with. He racked up a lot of enemies by being a block-happy censoring douche. People don't like to be blocked, especially when they're simply pointing out an inconsistency or a falsity in a video. Brett became known for going back on his word and lying about past events that people had seen with their own eyes, and if anyone decided to call him on it, they'd find themselves promptly blocked from his channel. This is the main reason that, when some dirt surfaced about him, so many people were enthusiastic about pouncing on the fucker and burying his pathological ass. The first main event that led to his downfall was when public records of past domestic abuse charges filed on him by his wife were discovered. It was actually the second time this had been exposed, but his second attempt at explaining the charges contradicted his first explanation, which was a clear indication that he most likely smacked his wife around. Very soon after this happened, in perfect Brett Keane fashion, he tried to drum up some sympathy by making a poetry video about his dead mother. The only problem was, he plagiarized the poem. It was a poem by Judy Burnett about her dead father entitled Dad. Brett retitled it Erase My Innocence and made it about his dead mother. The video description simply said, by Brett Keane. The video consisted of text popping up on the screen with organ music playing while he stared at the camera holding his head and looking somber. The text was nearly identical to Burnett's poem. Brett merely changed a word or two here and there. He was probably one of those students who thought it was fine to copy a page out of a book if you switch words around. Now, to think you can get away with shit like that on a worldwide web full of search engines is absolutely moronic. In fact, prior to YouTube, Brett had been run off an atheist forum called Atheist FM for plagiarizing an essay. Apparently, he didn't learn anything from that experience. A user named Judalicious made a video exposing his plagiarism of the poem, which has been mirrored by a few people. I'll provide a link. So now Brett had haters coming at him left and right, calling him a wife-beater and a plagiarist. He decided to strike back. Brett and a nearly retarded Christian YouTuber named Firefly515 declared e-war on all of their haters, giving them 48 hours to remove any video containing their content. So now it was on. Brett and Firefly started DMCAing people, and rather than warding haters off, it generated more and made the haters even more adamant about destroying Brett Keane's reputation on the internet. As the pressure mounted on Brett, he became erratic. He put up videos accusing everyone he could imagine of being behind this barrage of hater videos and comments. He even threatened to sue YouTube for not stopping the attacks. He said some bullshit about his lawyer telling him he had a great case, and pretty much everyone laughed at him. The situation finally came to a head when somebody got a hold of his personal address and started spreading it all over YouTube. Brett freaked out, and he thought he finally knew who was behind all of his recent troubles. It must have been the guy who ran Atheist FM, the forum on which he was first exposed as a plagiarist and a wife-beater. So Brett got a hold of his personal information and put it in a video description. Not long after that, he was suspended for dropping docs. A little while later, his second account, BK Wolfman, was shut down as well. Brett went to other video sites and whined about how he had been persecuted. He lashed out at the Amazing Atheist, accusing him of being behind the entire series of events. Keane always insists that all of his haters are actually a maximum of about 6 people pretending to be hundreds. He tried to return to YouTube countless times, but was usually shut down within a day or two. It seems that this time, YouTube might be giving him a second chance. Or maybe they just haven't noticed he's back yet. I guess only time will tell if he sticks around. As Brett aptly puts it, you never know what life may bring. Hey folks, this is Straightd0pe. Well, it's time for me to comment on the controversy surrounding the recent removal of my video due to a copyright claim. On Sunday night, my video entitled The Straightd0pe on Brett Keane, aka the Stallion76, was taken down, presumably because Brett Keane DMCA'd it. Since I'm entirely confident that the content of the video falls comfortably under the protection of fair use, I immediately sent a counter notice to the YouTube copyright department. Now, there seems to be some confusion regarding flagging and filing DMCAs. I want to clear this up quickly. Flagging is a YouTube feature that brings a video to the attention of the administrators. Whether or not they actually review videos that are flagged is a separate issue, but the point is that it is YouTube's discretion whether or not to keep a video available on the site. Contrarily, a DMCA is a legal claim that YouTube is forced to honor. They must remove the video immediately pending a counter notice. The procedure to be followed is outlined in the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, by which YouTube is bound. I was DMCA'd, not flagged. This event has sparked a lot of debate over whether or not the claim actually came from Brett or someone fraudulently claiming to be him. It doesn't seem likely to me that it was anybody but Brett Keane, and I'll go over the facts to explain why. The first scenario is that someone pretending to be Brett Keane decided to illegally file a DMCA claim to have a video critical of Brett taken down. There are only 2 possible motivations for this that I can figure. The first, as Gimme a Break Man mentioned, is that the person in question wanted to make Brett look bad. Since my video did a decent job of that to begin with, why would this person choose it over any other? Why go after a video that discusses Brett's e-begging, abuse charges, plagiarism, and doc dropping? It really doesn't seem to hold water. The second possible motivation for falsely filing the DMCA using Brett's name is that the person is Brett's supporter and simply wanted to make my video go away. If that's the case, this person didn't do Brett any favors. I of course don't give much credit to the intelligence of any Brett Keane fan, but using Brett's name to DMCA a video that discusses him filing false DMCAs is beyond stupid. That's wearing a helmet and being force-fed applesauce stupid. So if scenario number 1 is what occurred, no matter what the motivation of the claimant was, what they did was completely counterproductive to their cause. Scenario number 2, of course, is that Brett Keane filed the DMCA himself. The motivation is obvious. The video outlines the true series of events that led to Brett's initial suspension, events that he tries so hard to ignore or redefine. There are a few facts that support this scenario. For instance, he has filed many false DMCAs in the past. He had definitely seen the video and blocked me from his channel in response to it. He recently tried to pretend he hadn't seen it and didn't know about my channel. However, I have PMs from him which show otherwise. He didn't DMCA the video until he lost his Stallion76 channel, which was his most successful comeback attempt to date. That kind of setback could very likely have made Brett frustrated and reckless. At the same time, he's trying to rally support from the atheist community to get his account reinstated. It's understandable that he might not want a video floating around explaining why he deserved to be banned in the first place. In my view, it makes a lot more sense to believe that Brett Keane filed the DMCA, as the notice states, than to speculate that maybe some really stupid person went out of their way to commit a counterproductive act of fraud. Unfortunately, there's no way for us to know for sure. Assuming that Brett did indeed file the DMCA, by filing my counter notice, I have provided my personal information to a known doc dropper. When Brett was called to deny making the DMCA claim, rather than directly stating that he didn't have my video taken down, he avoided identifying me and proceeded to play the victim.
And I'm getting comments as well as emails from people asking me, did you flag some dude? Did you fucking do a DMCA? And I have to type no, 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 no over and over.
So now Brett has put out a few videos directed at me, claiming to have exposed me as a Christian, taking my words out of context and basically using his usual tactics and trying once again to play the atheist martyr. I'll direct the rest of this video to Brett regarding his new batch of lies. This is going to be fun.
I was recently given the opportunity through email to check out the video that people were claiming that I DMCA'd. Now, it's just a few people who are claiming that, and of course I've already admitted to not doing that. But I was curious about something, because when I got the opportunity to check out this guy's video site, the Straightd0pe person.
As I noted earlier, you saw my video as soon as I posted it. I submitted it as a video response to one of yours, and you sent me a private message calling me a troll. We exchanged 3 messages, and you blocked me.
From what I've watched in his videos, where he personally attacks people and insults the way they look and the way they talk and the way they sound, I didn't see in any one of his videos where he ever expresses what his religious views are or what his ideology is. There's no videos on there where he talks about how he feels about the government or how he feels about religion or anything. Just personal attack videos, troll videos.
Actually, my video towards the Angry Canuck does provide a bit of an overview of my political position. I also advocate secularism and denounce discrimination.
So what I wonder, Coughlin, is this person a Christian? The reason why I ask this is because it's usually Christians who make troll videos to me where they attack my weight and they attack the way I look, they attack my writing ability, they attack the way I am when it comes to being articulate.
I don't know why you're asking Coughlin this question, because Coughlin doesn't know the answer. I'll answer for you. I'm not a Christian. I'm a strong atheist. Therefore, I have respect for the truth and feel the need to counter assholes like you who don't. The rest of this video is limp-dicked fluff, so let's move on to the next one, in which you expose me.
By the way, Straightd0pe, before we continue watching your video where you attack people and make these stupid-ass little insults, I found your other account, the one where you basically are called James the Christian, who goes after Muslims as well as has several videos attacking me. I found it. You're a Christian who lies and makes up shit in order to attack atheists, and you hide behind these screens never showing yourself. You've lowered the pitch on your voice, but anybody that's got any software can easily speed up the voice a tad bit, and they can tell that it's you. You've slowed it down so you think that people wouldn't be able to figure out who it is.
Oh fuck no! You got me, Brett. You're just too damn good at this. Nothing gets past you, eh? You know, in my removed video, I stated you always insist that your haters are a maximum of about 6 people pretending to be hundreds. Thanks for providing an example for us all. It doesn't take too much to debunk this ridiculous claim. Let's have a quick listen to this James guy.
God commands Christians to love our enemies. And so, that command has not changed by divine revelation. Like I said, specific cases in a time, and we have moral reasoning that isn't something God would command now of days.
Okay, anyone who believes that we're the same person needs to have their hearing checked. Now Brett, you have editing software, don't you? If it's so easy to speed up my voice and make me sound like James, why don't you demonstrate for us?
Let's enjoy a small dose of irony, shall we?
Yeah.
You are the biggest fucking pussy on YouTube. You're a bigger pussy than Venom Fang, Jesus Freak, or any fucking theist that you make fun of. You are a fucking pussbag.
Ah, that's the stuff. The big...
You notice, ladies and gentlemen, that he uses a video clip where Saturn Films is saying some rough shit about Christians, where he says Jesus Freak and Venom Fang. Notice it's all Christians. Now, why would this guy want to defend Christians for, who atheists have had a very, very hard deal with? Just recently, James made some videos towards me saying that I lied about Venom Fang X, screwing people over as well as a children's hospital. Next.
Biggest pussy I've ever seen on the internet calling someone else a pussy. So
he's
Cody...
defending Christians.
I obviously was not defending any Christians. In fact, I wasn't defending anybody. That was a pathetic attempt at spinning a short segment of my video, and it's ultimately ineffectual since anyone can watch the original and see the actual context. Anyway, basically the rest of your video consists of challenging me to show my face on camera. That's not the way I choose to make my videos, and it has no effect on the validity of the content. But Brett, I have a challenge for you. You say you lost your Stallion76 account due to false flagging. I think YouTube simply shut you down again for being a banned user, as they've done several times before. You claim that YouTube gave you permission to open a new account, that your account was legitimate, and you were just another victim of the faulty flagging system. If you want people to rally behind you, mirror your video, and petition YouTube on your behalf, then I think you should prove that it was false flagging that resulted in your suspension. It won't be difficult to do, and if you provide the evidence, then I'll no longer object to people supporting your return. Personally, I don't think doc droppers should get a second chance, but if YouTube made that decision, that's up to them. So Brett, I challenge you to show us convincing screen captures of the following. First, the email from YouTube giving you permission to open a new account. Then, the 3 emails telling you you received strikes on your account, and especially the last one that says your account was suspended due to the 3rd strike. If you don't do this, I'll continue to assume that you were never supposed to be back on YouTube, and you are not the victim of false flagging. Have a good day. Hey people. Well, in Brett Keane's frantic damage control efforts, he has released a new set of lies. I'm going to respond to his claims and comment on the recent developments since I received the 2nd DMCA. When I announced that my video titled Responding to Brett Keane and the DMCA was removed due to another claim, I showed that soon after I had first uploaded it, I received a private message from Brett that said Strike 2. Once the video was taken down, it was quite obvious that he was gloating about filing a 2nd DMCA claim against me. In my mind, it was as good as a signed confession. To explain this away to his audience, Brett created a narrative and lied about communication between the two of us. He said I was trolling his channel with insults and calling him a fat ass, and that is what caused him to send me a message. He said I replied to him with hostility until he finally said Strike 1, meaning I was blocked from his channel. In the interest of full disclosure, I'm going to share with you all the private message communication I have had with Brett Keane. It should be obvious that his story is a complete fabrication. For starters, you'll see that his first message was not in regards to any trolling or commenting on his channel, but was sent the day my first video about him was posted and was in direct response to it. You'll also notice that my replies to him are civil and do not even remotely resemble Brett's portrayal. This is the first video I posted about Brett on May 7th, 2009, as you can see. Here is the very first message I received from him, also on May 7th, 2009. Of course, Brett could just insist that we had a host of communication prior to this, but I assure you we did not. You can see that this is the first page of my private message inbox. All I can do is give you my word that I haven't deleted anything. Also, note that this is only 8 days after I opened my account. So Brett says, "Hello, don't know why you sent me this vid. I made it clear trolls don't get advertised. If you want to make a name for yourself, try a different approach. I don't see myself as a victim. Anytime you talk religion or government, you piss someone off. It's a part of life. If you want to refute any of my topics, I will approve that, but not personal drama crap. I talked with TJ and we came to an understanding as adults do. If you knew me, you would understand we had been friends once upon a time. Have a nice day." So here is my reply. This was a direct response to a video you removed. You don't have to accept it as a video response, of course, but that just makes you appear to be a coward on top of everything else. Have a nice day. And Brett's reply to me, "Sorry, but shit talk and stirring drama does not impress me. I hear worse from Muslims, LOL. Look, if you have an issue, then simply talk to me. I'm sure whatever problem may be, there is always a solution." My response to him, "The problems I have are clearly outlined in the video. I am countering your usual bullshit account of how you were suspended and providing the truth. If you want to try to hide from it, that's fine and not surprising." And this is the last message I received from Brett on his Stallion76 account. "Alright, try to be nice and talk it out. Now you're proving to be less than adult. I have no interest in your secondhand trolling, kiddo. Bye." I was then blocked from his channel, which was a terrible tragedy. So now we can skip ahead a little bit. I posted my second video about Brett discussing the DMCA, responding to his disingenuous mischaracterizations of me, his accusation that I'm a Christian YouTuber named James, and challenging him to produce some very simple evidence to show that he had permission to return to YouTube and that his account was suspended due to false flagging. I posted this on May 26th, 2009. Within a couple hours, I received a message from Brett on his Mr. Evolution account that said Strike 2. I was already blocked and couldn't reply. My video was removed 2 days later due to another DMCA. I announced it in a video that very night, showing the Straightd0pe PM and saying that I no longer had any doubt whatsoever that Brett was behind these claims. When I got up the next morning, Brett had posted his fairy tale about what Straightd0pe meant and had sent me this PM. Whether or not you choose to trust the information I am providing is of course your call. I will just restate that I personally have no doubt that Brett Keane is the source of these false copyright claims. Brett is playing a my word against his game, which should be the last strategy used by a known liar. Let's recap Brett's reactions to this whole debacle. First, he was reluctant to directly deny filing the DMCA claim against me, only referring to me as some dude. He pretended he hadn't seen my video, nor my channel, yet the PMs I have saved prove that to be utter bullshit. He then claimed to have exposed me as a Christian named James. He must have been hoping that most people would just take his word for it, because anyone willing to take 5 minutes to compare our voices, our speech patterns, and the production of our videos would be forced to dismiss that ridiculous claim. Notice that Brett has now completely abandoned that premise. He then accused Gimme a Break Man and myself of releasing personal information about him, without providing any actual evidence. Gimme a Break Man simply provided a URL of a website that had links to YouTube videos about Brett, and a link to a forum from which Brett was banned. Brett went on a 15-hour vacation from YouTube. He then started name-dropping like a son of a bitch, flashing around a PM from Pat Condell, saying he's teamed up with TJ in annotations on all his videos and putting other YouTubers' names in titles. After I was hit with the second DMCA, and some people who had mirrored my video also had their mirrors taken down, he created the lies about our past communication. He also said he emailed YouTube about the DMCAs, though he didn't provide a screen cap of the email. That is the closest he's come to expressing concern about the possibility of someone using his name to file false DMCA claims. In my videos, I provide evidence for everything I possibly can, whereas Keane wants to be taken at face value. After making light of the fact that somebody could possibly commit fraud and file DMCAs in his name, he made a video harping on 2 sentences in my first removed vid, trying to make it seem as though all I do is fling insults.
Fat fuck. And people have been claiming that the guy was never insultive. Fat fuck.
Brett, when I called you a fat fuck in the video, it wasn't an insult. It was just another factual statement, a simple observation. So Brett then went on to feature audio from Tommy from the Bronx confirming that Judalicious made a video wherein she joked that Brett's a pedophile. The video was clearly a joke, but Brett has always called it an accusation and used it to discredit her previous video exposing the plagiarism that hundreds of people witnessed. Then Brett claimed that Judalicious and her friends made up that he dropped docs. It just so happens that I have the video in which he released the personal information of the owner of the Atheist FM forum. I'm gonna play it for you now, but censor pertinent information so as to not commit the same heinous act as Brett. First, here's a screen cap of Brett's old channel with the video in question featured. Let's watch the video. So, there's the evidence that Brett said could not be produced, but what he was saying in the video is clear. This man's name is Mike so-and-so, and here's where he can be found. He dropped someone's docs in the opinion of all who witnessed it and the YouTube site administrators. Anyway, he has now removed nearly all of the videos I just referenced. He's censoring his comments and he's blocking people left and right. He wants his word to stand against mine because of the people he knows, but throughout this situation he has shown himself to be nothing but dishonest. I submit that short of his name, you can hardly believe a word this man says. I wish I could provide concrete positive proof that Brett was the one who filed these DMCAs, but only YouTube can tell us what account was used to make the claims. Even still, Brett could have made them with an alternate account. I want to thank everyone who has defended the truth, mirrored my videos, and otherwise supported me thus far. I also want to thank the DMCA Abuse Channel and Terra Rising for bringing attention to this issue. Bye for now, everyone. Hello, everyone. A very interesting thing has occurred recently, which I feel I have to share with you all. Brett Keane, in his boundless arrogance and idiocy, has decided to drop docs on me in comments on Crazy Caleb's latest video. It's only a first name, but regardless, it's an attempt at revealing personal information about me. Where did this name come from? The only possible sources are the DMCA counter notifications that I submitted in response to the claims I received in his name several months ago. And now I'm going to prove this to you in the best way I can. When Caleb faked a YouTube inbox in order to prove that he didn't doctor a PM from me, he took some measures to ensure that no one could tell it was a fake. Even though he fucked up my username, he did not show the URL in his video, nor did he show himself opening his inbox. These details were significant indications that he was bullshitting. But here, it will be clear that I'm not using any such tricks. I'll show you Brett's comments live, and I'll show you where he got the name live. So let's begin. Here are two of Brett's comments on Caleb's latest video entitled Fatheism. First he calls me Edward, and then he calls me Ed, and threatens legal action against me. He says that he knows I'm a Canadian citizen, which is astounding given the fact that it says I'm from Canada right on my channel. Okay, so he's dropping a name and trying to intimidate me. So now I'll show you where the name Edward came from. Here I am logging into my Gmail account. I have a folder here for all the emails between myself and the YouTube copyright department. Here's one of the emails from the copyright department saying that a counter notification was done incorrectly, although they later changed their minds. You can see that they're writing to Edward. Here's the counter notification that they're responding to. I'm censoring important information for obvious reasons. So the name given is Edward, and the signature says Ed. Brett used both of these names in his comments. What Brett doesn't know is that my name is not Edward. Now I know what you're all thinking. Oh my god, Straightd0pe broke the law in his counter notifications. But that's not the case. Edward is the name of my attorney. It helps to have friends who are lawyers, because they'll do little things like this for free. They actually get off on it. Before any counter notifications were filed, I signed a contract stating that my attorney had joint access to my account, and so he qualifies as the subscriber to YouTube under the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. Therefore, the counter notifications were completely legal, and I was able to maintain my anonymity. So Mr. Keane, when you tell Ed to seek a lawyer, you're already speaking to a fucking lawyer, and he will welcome any legal action you decide to take. I guarantee that much. So how will Brett explain using this name? It has only ever appeared in connection to me in those counter notifications. Either he received them directly, or he has been in contact with someone who has. He may try to say he got the information from another source. Who knows, a Straightd0pe MySpace page might appear that has the name Edward on it. But any source he points to other than the counter notifications will just be more bullshit. The cocky douchebag that he is, he couldn't help trying to intimidate me, and all he did was incriminate himself further. I encourage everyone to ask him where the name Edward came from. Personally, I'm curious to see how he'll try to wriggle his way out of this one, and how many more idiots will shoot themselves in the foot while trying to take me down. 2010 might prove to be an exciting year. Bye for now, guys. Hey people, in the first video I made about Brett Keane, I said this. He's a notorious e-beggar and is known for telling sob stories while asking for donations. And now, to my complete shock and dismay, he's at it again. Keane recently came out with a video in which he claims that he and his family will be losing their home. Now, the mechanisms at play for this epic injustice are very technical and frankly way over my head, so I'd better let Brett explain it in his own words.
Her property, as well as our property, including many others who have been doing a lease to buy option on our homes. The person whom we were going through, the individual who works for this particular organization, I can't give personal info, but it turns out that on the 11th of this month, our home and a lot of other people's homes are going up for some kind of auction thing.
I hope that cleared it all up for everyone. If we were going to assume for a moment that Brett is capable of telling the truth, which of course he isn't, it sounds like the trailer park he lives in will be under new ownership very soon. His video is laden with tidbits of information intended to make his viewers sympathize with him. He slips in a mention of his daughter to remind us that children are involved.
Yesterday, my daughter just turned 8.
He ups the ante by suggesting that their personal possessions are also in jeopardy for some unexplained reason.
We found out that we're going to lose our home and everything we have.
And for the cherry on top, he throws in his infamous poor health.
This is very, very fucking stressful for me. Because not only do I have these problems, but for those of you that are close to me or know me personally, you know that I have some pretty fucking horrific health issues.
He says that he can't make YouTube videos until this is all resolved, thereby making it in the best interests of his faithful viewers to help him out. He didn't ask for any money in this video, but 2 days later, his wife Dawn gets on the horn. Doing her best to sound like a PBS announcer, she tells viewers how they can get their money to the Keane family and repeats that Brett cannot return to YouTube until they've solved their problem.
Hi, this is Dawn Keane. If you'd be interested in helping us, you can go to www.brettkeane.com. Click on PayPal and make donations to help us with our deposit, lawyer, and moving arrangements. Brett and I appreciate any assistance that is given. Brett also wishes to return, but until this is resolved, he cannot.
Of course, that wasn't exactly true.
I haven't been wanting to make any videos, although I have the ability to until Friday. Friday is the day that my home will be auctioned.
The reason I'm making this video is just to provide a word of caution to anyone who may be having a pang of misdirected altruism. Brett has been at this internet con game for a long time, and he's gotten a little better at it. Having his wife do the begging for him is simply a more advanced stage of his conman evolution. Of course, I don't believe a word of his story. I know he'll say anything to get free cash so he can keep up his sedentary lifestyle, playing World of Warcraft and making shitty YouTube videos. I know some people have already sent some money, but for anyone who may be considering it, I want you to ask Brett some questions first. Questions like, why can't they pay their own rent? Why should you pay it for them? And why should you be paying for their lawyer? Haven't they heard of legal aid? And, of course, does Brett have any evidence that he's losing his home? He's made the situation seem incredibly urgent, because that's the best way to get people to donate. However, even if the property is being sold, it doesn't mean they won't be able to lease from the new owner, and, assuming that's not an option, they can't legally be forced to move immediately either. The urgency that they've portrayed is false and manipulative, and if that isn't quite enough to make you skeptical about what Brett is telling you, keep in mind his internet philosophy.
I could be living on a tropical island. You never know. That's the beauty of the internet. I can be whatever I want. Isn't that cool? I love it. It's pretty neat. It's one of the things I love about the internet. You could pretend to be somebody's buddy. You could sit there and pretend to be somebody's troll. You could pretend to be whatever the hell you want.
There are a lot of worthwhile charities out there, and the Brett Keane Fund is sure as hell not one of them. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Brett Keane. Hello, folks. Brett Keane. Brett Keane. Brett Keane. There are two types of people in the world: givers and takers. A taker depends and relies on the people who will give and give and give. Takers. If you wanted to do something nice, this is what you call an Amazon wish list. We should be givers and takers, not just to take so we can have some piece of property, but to take whenever it's a necessity. MP3 player, Nintendo Wii, Sony Bloggy Touch, Sims 3 for Xbox, Fallout New Vegas, Fable 3, Sony Vial, one could always use a better computer, the World of Warcraft Cataclysm Collector's Edition, Logitech HD Pro Webcam C910, a new microphone. You don't have to have it gift wrapped. A taker likes to see themselves as a giver. If you feel the need to support me for the hard work that I do, PayPal, you come to me for entertainment and fun and all that kind of shit. Takers are the type of people who will lie, steal, cheat, destroy, do whatever it takes in order to get what they want. We're going to lose our home and everything we have. Bad health issues, diabetes, hydrocephalus, 9 surgeries. My home will be auctioned. I need a solution, people. You people out there who believe everything you're told and shit, there's something wrong with you. You really need some fucking help in that situation. Payments have not been made on the home since October, totaling out to around $2,300. We will be evicted. $2,300. Not just to take so we can have some piece of property, necessity. You wouldn't want people to get you a cell phone that doesn't have good fucking reception. You'd want Bluetooth, right? E-begging. People are just going to take advantage of you, but you can't stop yourself. You just keep doing it anyway. There you go.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. There have been some recent developments in my turbulent relationship with Brett Keane. Oh, Brett. Turbulent means like rough and stuff. So, for a while, Brett's been accusing me and a lot of other people of hurling baseless accusations at him without having the guts to talk to him live. I've rejected his invitations to his stickcam room because I know exactly what he does in there. He either kicks you, talks over you with his moronic friends, the island of misfit YouTubers, people like this.
Brett's channel is all about atheism and rationalism and skepticism and, just trying to figure out, you knew he was fucked in the head. You knew that he was, not quite right.
Or, if he's alone, or with a small number of others, he plays really dumb and meek, gives you indirect answers, and says, "Why do you have a problem with me? Alls I want to do is make videos and entertain people." And he may offer to suck you off. Well, I'm not interested in any of that. But recently, he was calling people chicken shit in comments on the Atheist Gal's video for not debating him live. So I decided I'd make him a proposal. I offered to have a live debate with him, just not on his terms. And he accepted. Well, he pretended to accept. Then he made a couple of truly idiotic videos. I'm going to respond to some of the things he said in the first video, and then deliver my formal debate challenge. Of course, Brett tends to ramble, so I'm going to stick to his major failures. I'll start with his weak attempt at pointing out my hypocrisy in becoming a partner.
Right here, he says, if I wanted to make some money from doing my videos, I would just apply for partnership. Well, the thing is, for anybody who actually watches Straightd0pe, even my friends have watched some of his videos to see what this fucking troll is up to. He did apply for partnership, and he's got partnership. His big stick, basically, is that he calls people out and claims that people are thieves and that they're taking money from people and all that kind of shit. But the only one that's really sitting there taking money and stuff and enjoying his fucking time in the sun is Straightd0pe.
I'm the only one taking money? Most of the people I've criticized for e-begging are partners as well. So not only are they receiving ad revenue, they're also holding their hands out every chance they get. I've never taken money from my viewers. The modest amount of money I do get from making videos is directly due to the fact that people watch them.
The times that I've asked for help and shit from people is when I actually needed help. I needed some kind of help. He does not need any help.
And I don't ask for any help. I don't really believe Brett needs help either. Or, if he actually does, he sure as fuck doesn't deserve it.
He sits there and gets paid by a corporation to do what he does. So, of course, he's not going to stop anytime soon, but he made a big-ass mistake recently, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, sitting there saying that he doesn't do it for money, yet he did apply for partnership.
This is supposed to somehow expose some big revelation about my hypocrisy and inconsistency. Except, my actions have been entirely consistent with the comment he's showing. My primary motivation for making videos was never money, which is why I put out videos for a year and a half without making any. When I did decide to take a stab at making some cash, what did I do? Exactly what I said I would do in that comment, and exactly what I've said others should do all along. Brett's pretending to score some points here, and I'm sure a lot of his viewers are stupid enough to be convinced, even though his own choice of visuals completely deflates his implication. He's also saying that because I applied for partnership, I'm doing it for the money. So, using his logic, since he also applied for partnership, he's just in it for the money himself. And since he was rejected, and he's just in it for the money, that casts a little more doubt on his claims about impending eviction.
I don't understand these type of goddamn videos out there. I understand if someone's trying to be funny and they just want to do like some, silly shots or whatever and stuff to be goofy or whatever, but not personal goddamn attack videos where people go after your family, people sit there and try to go after you in your real life and all that shit, which is what this fucking guy has done. He's gotten very personal with me.
Same old Brett, accusing everyone of attacking his family and trying to ruin his real life offline. Of course, I've never attacked his family or tried to interfere with his offline life in any way, and I certainly never tried to intimidate him and threaten him with legal action.
But here's where it gets fucking beautiful. This is what dreams are made of, ladies and gentlemen. When finally a bully, a person who trolls and trolls and trolls, makes the fucking biggest mistake of all time. And I guess didn't think anybody was going to notice it.
This is what you do when you hope no one notices a comment.
Apparently one of his little girlfriends decided to make a video towards me recently. Yes, somehow trolls sometimes get girlfriends. Whatever the case might be, either it's a girlfriend relationship, I don't know what the case is, because I don't know either one of these jackasses personally.
Yup, either it's a girlfriend, a relationship, or any other possible social connection one could think of. It's always good to speculate based on zero information. That's the mature and rational thing to do.
But she decided that she wanted to make a stupid-ass video acting as though she owned me or pawned me on YouTube, and of course she claims to be an atheist as well. And that's when I discovered that apparently she's associated with this dope character, because he decided to make a comment on her video. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, he says, "I'll debate you live, Brett, but not in your little stick-am room, through Skype, on Blog TV, at a mutually convenient date and time, and you have to answer my questions, or are you chicken shit?" Not only am I going to sit here and answer your fucking questions, but you're going to answer mine. You're the one that made the false accusations and asserted all this bullshit. If you were an atheist or a skeptic, you would realize that when you make assertions, you're going to have to sit there and fucking back up every single thing that you say. And if you choose, either by email or through video, to sit there and say that you're bringing people, then I will bring some people as well.
The self-proclaimed mature adult in a community of juveniles just said, "You bring your boys and I'll bring mine."
You made a mistake. A lot of people don't know you personally, and some people out there don't know me personally. So they may watch your video and actually be convinced by what you say. You could have sat there and went on and on and on and shit making videos, and nobody would have ever known the difference and shit unless they actually watched my channel. But now you said that you want to come at me live. You do realize, and I want to do this on Skype. That's what it's going to be. You said Skype, so we're going to do Skype. We're not doing blog TV because blog TV lags, and you can't get people up on the camera. You can, however, get a lot of people into a room on that, and we both could talk and interact back and forth.
I don't want a bunch of people up there to muddle the argument. I want a one-on-one discussion with an audience on blog TV, which works just fine.
And I don't give a fuck when the date or time is, just make sure it isn't a long time into the future, because I'm really excited about pawning your ass. Don't hold me up. Don't make me wait. I know you don't have that much shit going on in your life to hold you back, or you wouldn't have all the time to make these stupid videos that you make.
Talk about projecting. I've posted 35 videos in 2 years. That's less than 2 videos a month. Brett's posted 15 times as many videos in less time. He almost posts as many videos per month as I have since I opened my account. And that's not counting all the videos he's removed. So who's the one with all the time in the world to make videos?
So you fucked up. You said you want some and you're going to get some. You're going to get a piece of this. So you're going to answer my fucking questions too, and don't expect me to be polite and respectful like I usually am in my videos. You fucked up. You've been doing this for months and you've caused a lot of aggravation in the atheist community. Peace out, ladies and gentlemen. Get ready for the bug squashing to begin.
So, after this, we exchanged a few more comments. I tried to get him to agree to a time and date, but he refused, instead insisting that I jump into his stickam room that very second, though I was working at the time and had explicitly said that his stickam room would not be the venue for our debate. He then, of course, declared himself the winner, like a fucking child, and put up another video claiming that I pussied out. He's the one who's pussied out so far. So I'm here to issue my challenge very clearly and publicly. Brett, you claim that I've made numerous false accusations about you, so that's what I want to discuss. I don't want some stupid stickam or Skype free-for-all. I want a one-on-one discussion with an audience on blog TV at a mutually convenient date and time. I also don't want it to be a back-and-forth bickering session. I want it to be structured. I propose that I get to ask you questions and direct the conversation for half the time, and then you can do the same for the second half. And you can save any extra conditions you might feel like coming up with. For instance, only if I go on camera. These are my terms, which I think are very reasonable. If anyone thinks this proposition is unreasonable, please let me know. So now it's up to you, Brett. No more bullshitting to your viewers. If this debate doesn't happen, it's only because you don't want it to. If you find your balls, you can leave a comment or PM me to arrange a date and time. Thanks for watching, everyone.
I'm fucking ready!
Hey guys, I thought I'd make a follow-up video to my blog TV debate with Brett Keane. All in all, it went pretty well, with a few minor issues, but nothing too significant. I'd like to thank everyone who recorded it and everyone who chose to mirror it on YouTube. I'm pretty sure Brett now has me blocked on Skype, and I've had no interaction with him since he sat there and hung up on me during the event. One thing that became very apparent during our discussion is that sitting has become such an integral part of his lifestyle that Brett imagines everyone and everything to be sitting at all times.
When someone sits there, sitting there, I will sit here, you sit there, and sit there. Coughlin sat there, and everybody was sitting there getting into that. He sat there, and his video's still sitting up there. I sat there, you're sitting there, and you can sit there, and sitting there for a while. I did sit there. It was all sitting in notepads, basically just sitting there. Gotta sit there and, go to the bathroom. Sat there. I used to sit there and sit here and sit there. You sit there, I might have sat here, and they sat there, and I'm sitting here, sat there, and sitting there. I sit there, I'm sitting there. He sit there, and he just sat there. And why would I sit there, sat there, sitting here, and everybody would sit there, and go for that. Sit here.
Now, the first thing I'd like to cover is the DMCA topic that I brought up. Brett denied having ever been involved in the filing of DMCAs in his name. When I mentioned the fact that he had Firefly 515 file DMCAs in his name years ago, he claimed that the two of them had simply made a parody video about that, and that no claims were ever filed. Although I don't think anyone buys his parody story for a second, you just never know. When I told him that it obviously wasn't a parody, if for no other reason because people began receiving DMCAs 24 hours later, he asked if I had any evidence. Unfortunately, I didn't anticipate such a ridiculous explanation from him, so I wasn't prepared for it. So just in case anyone happens to be sitting on the fence on this one, here's a clip of a video that Firefly 515 made after losing his little E-War.
Recently, I've decided to fight an E-War with a bunch of haters and trolls. They were attacking a friend of mine. I did what any friend would do. I stood up and defended him and started fighting for him against the haters and trolls. I knew from the very beginning that I would probably lose and get suspended, but I was willing to take that chance and do the right thing. I did lose, and my worst fears did happen, but at least I know that I was a true friend and did the right thing. I have a clear conscience on the matter. This is to all the haters out there that I have been fighting against. I understand why you hate Brett Keane. Now, I have to be honest with all of you. I hate what I have become in this e-war. I have become what I was fighting against. I compromised my morals, my values, my beliefs, and my Christianity, and what I wanted to accomplish here on YouTube. For that, I apologize to the community of YouTube, my subscribers, and to the haters out there. I cannot live with myself being this way anymore.
In other words, he did indeed start a war by filing DMCAs for Brett, and it bit him in the ass. It was no parody. Anyway, Brett stuck to his story, and I moved on. I brought up the fact that he addressed me as Edward in comments, the name of my friend that appeared in the counter notifications that were filed in response to DMCA claims made against me in Brett's name, DMCA claims that resulted in the suspension of my channel. This is where it got fun, because on this topic, Brett had not just telegraphed his punch, he swung before I even left my corner. Earlier in the week, he had sent me this PM. If he had simply left it at that, I would have had no idea what he was talking about, and it may have thrown me for a bit of a loop during the debate. However, hours after sending me that message, he posted this video on Brett Keane Jr.'s channel.
But I will add a link in the description of this video that I got. Actually, I heard about this page a while ago and I'd forgotten about it, but I was talking to the Edward.
After some correspondence with Gimme a Break Man, we were able to locate the original video and I prepared a clip.
But I will add a link in the description of this video that I got. Actually, I heard about this page a while ago and I'd forgotten about it, but I was talking to the Japundit guy, Edward, over at Japundit.com. By the way, he does the podcast Japan Talk. I think it's .org.com. I'll put the links in the description.
When Brett brought it up live, I was grinning from ear to ear. The irony here is that Brett's original story for where he came across the name Edward, while being an obvious lie, was actually plausible. He had claimed at least twice that he found it from a Google search, and while his story was shady and didn't hold up to the least bit of scrutiny, it probably would have been believed by anyone who didn't know any better. But right before the debate, Brett thought he had come up with an even better lie. He failed miserably. Just the editing job of the video, which he admitted to making himself, speaks volumes about his intent to deceive. But the fact that the Gimme a Break Man video was made almost a year after Brett left those comments is 100% proof that he was lying about his source, and that is 100% proof that he was in fact responsible for filing DMCAs on me and surely a whole host of other people at that time. Though it was clear that only time travel would make his claim possible.
Oh shit, Brett, you drove a DeLorean that looked like the same fucking car that Marty McFly used in Back to the Future.
He clung to the story like it was a fucking life preserver. So I moved on to the false editorial reviews for one of his books on Amazon.com, particularly the one attributed to his own magazine that never published a single issue and was linked to his former personal website. Brett's tactic in dealing with this subject was to list off a whole bunch of random shit to try to confuse everyone.
GodHatesYou.com, Yahoo Chat, Shoutcast, Winamp, Widget, that website got hacked. Forum, MP3s and all that. A lot of atheists on YouTube have used Lulu. Serpent's Cradle Radio, Amazon WordPress, a Notepad, Barnes & Noble's, that and everything, Amazon store, BrettKeane.com, friends page, people type things and stuff like that.
Then he pretended to not know what I was talking about.
And which link are you talking about, though?
And he even tried to blame it on the famous Mike and Steve.
There's probably either a guy that I knew back then and stuff named Steve or Mike and stuff. It could have either been Mike or it could have been Steve in this situation.
But after all the beating around the bush, what his explanation really boiled down to was, what's the big deal? The book doesn't sell anyway. When I brought up his past plagiarism of the Judy Burnett poem, it was clear from his voice that he didn't like where this was going.
I never plagiarized anybody's stuff.
He eventually accused me of doctoring his video. The problem here is that in all the times he recounted being exposed by Judalicious, he never once claimed that she doctored his video. He only claimed that he credited the author in his description. The copy I played was his original, and the exact same as the one Judalicious showed in her expose. At this point, Brett's wife started getting involved, trying to help him get his story straight. I started hearing them whisper to each other while I was talking or playing clips, and at one point Brett muted his mic. This all culminated in his rage quit, after he ranted about everyone being trolls and juveniles editing videos to fuck him over. For the next couple of days, Brett was pretty quiet on YouTube, except for a nonsensical video about the debate that he made with J-Dub and some other douche, which really only served to make fun of Brett himself.
Is it true that back in 1962, you stared out at a window at some people that were getting on your nerves, and you actually fantasized about taking your guitar, running down the street, and hitting them with it? Speak now, don't hold back now.
All right, well, actually, I was born in the 80s, so it's kind of impossible, but what I was able to do is I was able to take a time machine back to the 60s.
And recently, he seems to have given up on atheists and is now pandering to Christians, claiming that he believes that because Christians gave him the most money in his last e-begging episode, his prayers were answered and he has to rethink his theological stance. In other words, atheists have his number, so he's going where the suckers are. So I want to deliver a cautionary tale to any theists welcoming Mr. Keane with open arms. The next thing I was going to bring up on Blog TV is the timeline of his past year of e-begging. In June 2010, Brett claimed that the owner of his home was in financial trouble and the property was going up for auction.
On the 11th of this month, our home and a lot of other people's homes are going up for some kind of auction thing.
He said that he would almost surely be evicted, and he asked people for financial help to get a lawyer and to pay for moving expenses and first month's rent. People sent him money, and of course, he was never evicted. The money went into his pocket. Then, Brett, who supposedly had zero contingency money, was living hand-to-mouth and couldn't even scrounge moving costs, bought a $300 Xbox Slim sometime after.
There's a Nintendo Wii, which would be a gift for the boy. He does have an Xbox Slim.
We know this because the Xbox Slim was released after his e-begging. This means that either he lied about his situation, or he's astoundingly irresponsible with the little money he has. The following December, he made a video introducing his viewers to an Amazon wish list containing over $2,300 worth of luxury items. This seems greedy at best, until you take into account the fact that the following month, he turned around and claimed he hadn't paid rent since October.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Brett Keane. I received a phone call today stating that payments have not been made on the home since October, which is basically totaling out to around $2,300.
What kind of a guy who's 2 months behind on rent asks for video games and cameras instead of rent money? Again, either dishonest or astoundingly irresponsible. So in January, he asked for about $2,300, claiming that he was about to be evicted. People sent him money again. In February, despite being in such dire financial straits, he added a new item to his Amazon wish list. The man who was supposedly in desperation and was forced to humiliate himself by asking for handouts had new microphones on his mind. The following month, he asked for even more cash. This time, he claimed that his year-long contract with the new homeowner was up and he could be evicted at any moment.
The paperwork that we had with these people, it's gone. It's pretty much, it's no longer valid anymore. Not gone like it flew away or a fucking dog ate it, but basically our contract with this new company is up. They gave us a year, and they're not even obligated to have us fucking stay here anymore. Being that we are under no obligation by these people who actually own the land now, and the banks and everything else, they pretty much are going to end up sooner or later probably sending the goddamn cops up to my fucking place and having us put out on the fucking street. We don't have a contract with them anymore, so there is no 30 days, 90 days where we can just sit on our ass and try to figure out a solution.
An interesting assertion, since it still hasn't been a year since his home was supposedly auctioned. It's important to point out that right after advertising his Christmas wish list, and also while he was asking for money in March, he decided to put his kids in videos, a transparent strategy to manipulate his viewers. All of this should paint a very clear picture. Either he's lying about his situation in order to sponge off his viewers, or he'll very likely squander any money he's given. I'm actually inclined to believe that it's both. In my questioning of Brett, I was building up to asking why he told two different stories about his abuse charges. That's when I really expected the sparks to fly. However, at this point I don't really think that it's necessary to delve into that, but I am willing to provide the evidence to whoever may be interested. And I'd like to close with a message to Brett. Brett, in the comments you left when trying to drop my docs, you threatened me with legal action. I'm wondering what sort of legal action you had in mind. It occurs to me that maybe the FBI would be interested in hearing about a person on YouTube making repeated claims of impending eviction and health problems while asking for money. If you're not telling the whole truth, it's clear-cut fraud, and people go to jail for that. I also wonder if you've declared any of those donations as income. Tax season just ended, after all. If you want to talk about the law, things can get complicated really quickly when you make claims and accept charity. I'm not saying that I'd actually contact law enforcement. What I am saying is maybe you should think twice before running your stupid fucking mouth and trying to bully people with threats of legal action. Food for thought, asshole. I'm probably done dealing with you for a while. I mean, it is Ignore Brett Keane month. But I reserve the right to expose you for the lying, greedy, conning hypocrite you are in the future. Thanks for watching, everyone.